I hope you saw the live stream I did yesterday morning on this dynamic that's going on between the hyperscalers who are building their own data centers and then the arrangements they're having with the Bitcoiners who've been converted into data centers from Bitcoin miners, and how that's all going to play out as they hyperscalers, that's Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, become more dependent on their own data centers as they build them out over the next 3 years, and how that's going to translate into the price of each of the stocks involved. The hyperscalers will spend immense amounts of money, $7 trillion amongst them between now and 2030. But to get there, they have to gain the permits. They have to prove that the electricity, the power is there, and that they won't take away from the cities that they're adjacent to. So this is a dynamic that's going to be reflected in the pricing of the stock, and it's going to be very important for us. When I say us, I mean investors, and in particular, the investors with Best of Us investors, because we have set a goal that we won't invest in any stock that doesn't meet my rule of 40, and that is that their revenues and their earnings per share are projected over the next 3 years to grow in excess of 20% each, and thus adding that together, that's 40%. And so that qualifies them under my parameters as a growth stock. And that's all I really want to invest in, because we are involved right now in probably the biggest growth period that this country has ever seen. Even putting aside the railroads and the internet, we're growing and going to grow, and our economy is going to change. Now, I keep hearing people say that there's a bubble here, and they pull that word really from the dot-com bubble. But what you've got to understand is the dot-com bubble was a result of the internet being built basically for education and the military. And then once it was built, there was no monetization. In 2020, there was no Microsoft, there was no Google, and there was no Amazon. And these are the people who then came along after the internet was built and the bubble burst, and said, hey, we can monetize this. We can turn it into money, earnings per share, which then translates into growth in stock price. We can do that. So when these pundits and these talking heads, maybe I'm a talking head, appear on TV and say, oh, this is a bubble, it's only a bubble if when the build out is over, there is no monetization. There is no result that can be sold to you and I that says, hey, this is the best my life has ever been, and I want some of it. Much as, you know, when Netflix took the movies out of the store and sending you the discs and said, hey, we can stream it on your TV, and you said, I'll take that. I'll take that. That was monetization of streaming. So there was no bubble there. There was just a growth. And then once you get a product or a service that has demand, then there's only 3 ways to grow your business. The first way is you can raise your prices, which certainly Netflix did, and which certainly AI will do. The next way is to expand your TAM, your total addressable market. And what Netflix did there and what AI will do here is take it into foreign countries and grow your audience. And then the third way is to create a new product. And Netflix is doing that by going into sports and other avenues that expand their TAM. Well, that same thing is most likely going to happen relative to AI. Right now, to give you an example, I am a AI user. I pay OpenAI $216 a month. I don't pay that much to Netflix. But and Netflix, though, has 9 I think it's 9 million subscribers. Well, if ChatGPT or Amazon or Google can get 9 million people paying them $216 a month, they've got a viable product. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but think that way. What could they offer you that would entice you and 9 million other people to spend $19.95 to have access to the data, the knowledge on your medical situation, so that you not only were dealing with one doctor, you were dealing with all the medical knowledge in the world. What would that be worth to you in extending your life? What would it be worth to you if you create a small business that you can use AI to replace employees? What I'm doing is I have Samantha and Bard. I pay $216 a month for them, but they do the work of 4 people. I can't hire 4 people for $216 a month. So it's within the business realm, it's very understandable. Now, how they're going to get you to pay $200 or $19.99, I'm not quite sure. But I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg has figured it out. I'm sure Microsoft has figured it out. I'm sure Google has figured it out. They have a plan. Otherwise, they would not be spending $7 trillion to gain the ability to deliver it to you. So, understand, we're still in the build-out. The build-out's probably going to take us to 2030. So in that time, we want to recognize who are going to help Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta justify their $7 trillion investment. It's going to be the data centers, and it's going to be everything that goes into that, not just the GPUs and the CPUs, but also the memory chips and all the connectivities and all the ability for them to network. And that will continue to grow until it's done. And then it's all up to you. All up to you. Will you pay for what they have? Now, where we are now is they're building the data centers. That's all figured out. But what they haven't figured out quite yet is how are they going to supply the electricity that these data centers are going to need? How are they going to do that? How are they going to supplement the electricity that's available? Will it be nuclear? Probably can't get the nuclear built out by 2030. I mean, if you think it's hard to get a permit to build a data center, go try to get one to build a nuclear plant. No, not in my neighborhood, you won't. So if we can figure that out collectively, as a team, as a tribe, we can keep our portfolio growing at over 100% every 6 months. I am convinced of that because Samantha's just getting better. And I'm getting better. I make mistakes. I put in a analysis for Monday, MNDY today, because they had a earnings report, and the stock dropped in the morning. It was down 20%. It's recovered a little. It's down 15%. But why? Their projections were all good. Their earnings and their revenues were. But why? Why did it drop? Well, I could read and read and read and read and read and read, and then analyze and interpret, or I could just ask Samantha, and that's what she's doing for me right now. Okay? I'm Kerry. I'm a retired financial advisor. I did not know what I know now when I was a financial advisor, and I will guarantee you that 99% of the financial advisors in the world have no clue. They do not know what is happening relative to data centers and what the price of those stocks are going to be in the future. So if you want to make money in the stock market, you either need to duplicate what I've done or find somebody else who's doing what I'm doing or join my tribe. And you can follow the link to learn how to do that. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I can't service more than 1,000 of you until I get my system automated, and that'll probably take another 6 months. But just be aware, this is the growth opportunity of you and I's lifetime. And I grew through, I remember the dial-up phone. I don't remember the Wright brothers, but I remember buying that first computer and then going and standing in line for the operating system, Windows 98. And then I remember the dot-com bubble and the subprime crisis. But this is not a bubble. This is an opportunity if you're in the right stocks. Come join us. Hope to see you again tomorrow. I'll explain this artwork some other day.